Yes, and that was one of the things that I took away from the story, and I wanted to share with our listeners, especially those who are listening in the Pacific Northwest, and of course Starbucks is growing quite rapidly all across the country, but it is different today, probably than you encountered then. They are very tolerant and very accommodating, actually. And I thought that was also interesting story because I met you at a Starbucks.
Correct.
Of course, you didn't have the dog, but you did have the books on the table. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But anyway, thank you for sharing that story with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how about corporate lady Lacey? Tell us a little bit about that, about her.
Well, Lacey was raised by a gentleman out of the San Francisco Bay Area. When these dogs are trained to become a working guide dog, the organization is called Guide Dogs for the Blind, based out of San Rafael, California. They're at age 8 to 10 weeks old. They're placed with a puppy raiser, whether that is an adult raiser or a youth raiser who is between the ages of 9 and 18 years old in their family. And for the next year plus of the dog's life, this puppy, they raise them, giving it its basic introduction to obedience, potty training them, housebreaking them, but most of all, they socialize the dog. That means that they start taking this animal anywhere and everywhere that they can think of, so that the dog starts to become introduced to all the sights, the sounds, and the smells of things that might not normally be exposed to and by a dog in society. So the gentleman who raised Lacey is he's a computer consultant, travels the world. And so Lacey was 11 weeks old, and he had a business trip that was going to take him from San Francisco to Denver. And he's like going, okay. She's been placed in my hands to train, and raise. I guess she's coming with me. So they wear this little green jacket that says, I'm a guide puppy in training. So Rand booked his flight from San Francisco to Denver, but he decided that since she was just barely potty trained, that he was going to fly from San Francisco into Salt Lake, lay over in Salt Lake, and then fly into Denver. So he booked his paid for his flight to go, and so he gets on the airplane in San Francisco. And of course, any time that you walk onto an airplane with a puppy or even now a guide dog for an individual such as myself, the airlines go, great, we have a VIP on board. They love it. So Rand gets on the plane, and he gets all situated because he travels in business class because of all of his miles. Gets Lacey situated on the floor. She's all nice and comfy and everything, and the plane takes off, and the plane's just getting up to, in a nice big arc, getting up to cruising speed. And Rand looks down on the floor to make sure that Lacey's all nice and stuff, comfy and everything. He goes, oh, my goodness, she's gone. And so this puppy, 7 rows back, this lady at this lady's feet, she says, I've got a puppy, because she slid right in underneath the seats. So that for the duration of the flight between San Francisco and Salt Lake, it takes him to get his puppy back because she's being passed from person to person to person, the stewardesses and everybody else on the plane. So he gets off the airplane in Salt Lake, goes out, takes care of her business, and he's now reboarding the plane in Salt Lake, and he gets back on the plane, and before they push the plane out onto the tarmac to take off again, he's like going, what can I do? Where can I put her? So she's not going to be sliding all over the plane. And he goes, aha! So he pulls the magazine rack holder back. He empties the magazines out of there, and he puts his 11-week-old puppy in the magazine rack holder on the plane. And that picture is in the book because we were able to recreate it through some wonderful people here in the Seattle area at the Museum of Flight and my photographer, so we have that picture. So Missy started traveling at an early age. When I received her when she was about 20 months old, she had already racked up 150,000 air miles. Of course, my first question was, okay, are those transferable?
Right,
and they
exactly.
Go, sure, if you want to buy them a ticket. And I'm like, okay, fine. I understand how this works now. But
and
Lacey
the picture is adorable, absolutely adorable.
So Lacey would walk in and out of corporate business meetings. She had the opportunity to meet Bill Gates, Bill and Hillary Clinton, and a lot of other dignitaries in being in different places, in elevators and business meetings, walking in and out of hotels. And Rand would tell me stories about being in these business meetings with anywhere between 10 to 15 corporate business execs and all that type of situation, but they're all in their nice business attire, and he'd walk in with Lacey, and they'd go ooh and ah, and it wouldn't be maybe 5 to 10 minutes on the business meeting that he would look over and he'd see one or two that would be on the floor playing with the puppy or slipping her an ice cube and just having a great time with the puppy. So she enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And I have to tell our listeners, when you see the picture of Lacey in the pocket, or the reproduction of this event, oh my word, it's no wonder that he didn't get her back for a while on the plane. It's priceless, just precious. Okay, so Clark, we are running out of time very quick here, and we have just we really need to talk about Arbuckle, because this is such a crucial part of your book, and so I wanted you to share with our listeners just a little bit about Arbuckle, and then a little bit about the connections you made with all the leashes and the people who were tied to them.
Okay, Mr. Arbuckle is a yellow Labrador, which basically has a very, very quirky personality, which is absolutely wonderful. When I got him at the guide dog school, I did a double take when they told me his name. They go, Arbuckle? Where did that come from? Of course, the trainer goes and says, well, like Fanny Arbuckle out of the cartoons. I go, okay, fine. Yeah, I can understand that. And then I found out later that there's a town in California named Arbuckle. I also found out later through my brother and some other people that there is a brand of coffee that is still made and manufactured today called Arbuckle's Coffee out of Tucson, Arizona. But the real reason that his name is Arbuckle is because the people who have his mother for the breeding stock, their name is Arbuckle. And when the litter was born, they decided that he was going to have the name of Arbuckle. And all of his brothers and sisters have a name that starts with the letter of A, because that's how the organization keeps track of them, as far as all his litter mates have a name that all starts with the same first letter of the alphabet. So that's how he became Mr. Arbuckle. But he's very, very quirky, and he doesn't like to swim. He gets into the water as far as chest high. That's enough. And the couple times that he's had to swim, he swims with his mouth open because he has a drinking problem. He loves to ingest water, not to be in the water. So, but he's a great, wonderful working dog, and he's been with me now for 7 years, and we've had a lot of fun together.
Well, thank you for sharing about all of these different dogs and friends and companions that you've had. We're running out of time very quickly, so I do want you to share with our listeners just a minute or two here about the wonderful connections that you've made with people as you have gone through this journey yourself.
The leash is a very interesting part of the whole program because the leash is the connector from the user of the dog to the dog, but it's also what connects you to society. Because first of all, you have to have the faith and the trust to take hold of the leash to allow the dog to take you where you're going to go. When you receive the dog, you receive a brand new leash. The leash is stiff, just like a relationship. A relationship is new, it's stiff, and you have to take and massage that leash as well as you massage and work the relationship as far as getting to know the people. Being out in society with a dog is different than being out in society being with a cane for an individual such as myself. The biggest difference between being a dog user or a cane user is the approachability. People come over and want to know about the dog. They ask the normal questions. What's its name? What kind is it? Where was it trained? How old is it? They ask all those normal questions. And then at some particular point in time, if you have enough time, they'll ask exactly what they want to know about blindness or blind people or all those types of things. So being out in society, you're approachable. But there's all the people that are connected to the dog, the people that have raised the dog, the trainers, the people that have spent time making this animal ready to be used by an individual such as myself. The importance is the connection, the relationship, and all those important things that have made this animal to be exactly what it is so that it allows an individual to be safe and to be able to go and have that freedom of mobility in society.
And you articulate that so well throughout your book, and that was what was so delightful and surprising throughout the book is you really talked about the connections that you made with people, and you were very detailed in some aspects, and I just really appreciated you including them in your book and your journey and your story. Well, Clark, we are out of time here, so what we're going to have to do is I do want to share with our listeners just real briefly the last area of the last chapter in the book, Coming Full Circle. I have to tell you, I was just totally taken back. I was just very surprised by that chapter. But again, feeling a lot of various different emotions, and it is just a wonderful book. So I'm highly recommending people take the time, read the reviews, go to the websites and find out more about this book. I think you will find it very delightful. So before we run out of time here, Clark, if you could share with our listeners your websites and how the book is available so they can learn more about you and all the work that you're doing as well.
Absolutely. They can. My website is www.clarkroberts.org. You can find out about my speaking. You can find out about the book. The book is available in print. It's also available as an electronic book, an electronic version. It'll soon be available as an Audible book as well, but it is available in print as well as electronic. All of the proceeds, 10% of all proceeds go back to Guide Dogs for the Blind from all the sales, so that it's just one little way to say thank you to Guide Dogs for the Blind as far as for all the incredible work that they do. So the book is available from our website at www.clarkroberts.org. They can also read the reviews. They can book us for speaking, where I speak in schools, youth groups, churches, business organizations, so that people have the opportunity to hear a little bit more about my story.
Well, Clark, thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing with our listeners